And then I basically had to decide football or dancing because I had a contract offer from Southampton.
No way.
So you couldn't do both. But then I went the wrong way round.
Oh, no.
Because in dancing, we go anti-clockwise around the floor. And I went clockwise, and my dad's going to my teacher, going, look at him, Maverick, my son, going the wrong way, trying to be standing out. He went, no, Tom, he's going the wrong way.
And you got in the final.
I think we're the only ballroom and Latin couple to do that, which is cool. They advised against it. Our teachers were like, well, you've just won the Worlds. You're going to go like that now in the competition world. If you do this, it might be considered by the dancing world as not taking it seriously. And I was like, nah, I want to meet Simon Cowell.
Strictly Come Dancing.
I remember doing an interview for Strictly, and I spoke to them on Zoom, and then there was like silence. And the phone rings. It's one of the producers who says, the floor manager said to us, she just wants to kind of get the sound of the room. And so she sat down on this little vocal podium, and she sat, with a thing like that. And she's just going, you know how she does these ad libs. She goes, and we're all going like.
I just want to take you back to that moment when you lifted Angela Rippon's ebony leg. The whole, not just the nation, the whole world went, what the? My guest today is an incredible dancer, choreographer and creative. He is one of the finest ballroom and Latin dancers Dancing with the Stars and Strictly Come Dancing has ever seen. He is a former world junior Latin champion and has appeared numerous times in Britain's Got Talent finals. He's won the coveted Christmas special of Strictly Come Dancing twice. I am so honoured to introduce Mr. Kai Widdrington.
That is
Listen to that!
Oh my
gosh,
that is amazing.
First of all, how are you? You're looking great, honestly. I've seen you, like your posts of you're looking so good.
Thank you. I feel good.
Well, you sound and you look great. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say to you about your journey since it's been 8 years since we first started working together.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy and proud of what you've achieved because you are such an incredible dancer and choreographer. And I noticed that from when I first met you. And it's so great that you're still so humbled. You're still the same person. We actually met on the street just a little while ago, just for you guys to know.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kai, and you were like, oh, I was you. And it's just so great to every time I see you, just to like where we left off. So well done on your great achievements so far. I mean, you're still very young, and you've achieved so much. So congrats so far.
Thank you. I mean, it's been a journey so far. I'm still just the right side of 30, depending on when this goes out. But I am still young, still hungry. I think that's the key. I think that the key to it is sometimes when you get success, you can kind of lose that hunger for what you kind of always wanted to do initially. I remember back in the Burn the Floor days, or even before that, and Burn the Floor and Britain's Got Talent, you were just like, okay, what can I do next? And obviously for us ballroom dancers, Strictly's kind of the pinnacle, really. It doesn't really get much better than that.
No.
And you can kind of go, okay, well, I've made it now. I've made it, and then everybody's replaceable. So I think it's important to kind of always look for that next kind of, what can I do better? What can I do better?
And I think that's what's so good about a lot of the dancers on Strictly, especially. They always go on to do their own tours, the creators and stuff, which is so important because it's all good getting on a show. Like you said, it's the pinnacle, but it's actually, what do you want to do after it? How is your brain going to work? What do you want to do? What angles do you want to go? But it's just great to see what you're doing. So congrats.
Thank you.
I wanted to go back to the beginning of when you first, what age were you when you first thought, actually, I really want to learn ballroom and Latin, or I really want to learn dance?
So I started when I was 7, and it was kind of by accident. So my dad was a football player, and I naturally wanted to be like him because I would go to dad's games at the weekend, and I'd be like, well, I want to be like my dad.
Yeah.
So I'd just be kicking a football left, right, and centre. And we lived next door to some dance teachers. In Stoke-on-Trent, Alan Ford and Maureen Ford, who had their little dance school in Stoke-on-Trent.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that we lived next door to their son. So their son was like, sent him to our dance class. It was called Tango Tots.
Oh, wow. Tango Tots.
Tango Tots.
I've heard of that. Well, that's a good name, isn't
It's
it?
a good little name.
Wow.
It was like under 6s, under 7s or whatever. And I really didn't like it because I was like, well, this isn't football, so therefore I don't like it.
Don't like it, yeah.
But the funny thing was, on the way to football training, Dad would play like Elvis, Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson,
Wow. Yes.
Mariah. Mariah.
Yes.
And I'd go, oh, that's a waltz that I was learning. That was the
you could get that tempo, so you could understand.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, actually, like if I did that, maybe it's actually not so bad. And, I'd find myself in the mirror with a hairspray bottle and all that. So I kind of fast forward.
So you could have been on X Factor then.
No.
You could have been on X Factor.
No, unfortunately, I wasn't blessed by the vocal gods with a good voice. But no, I kind of fast forward to kind of when I was 12. I'd been doing like one competition a year at the King's Hall in Stoke-on-Trent, and I was like, I loved the competitive side because of dad and competitive football and all that. It was a very competitive family. And then I basically had to decide. I had to decide from like football or dancing because I had a contract offer from Southampton who wanted to sign me.
No way.
And I had
my God. How old were you then?
12. So I knew, because when you're younger, dance competition on a Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely.
But football when you're younger is on a Sunday as well. So you couldn't do both. So I had the British champion who just split up with Luke Miller, who's a good friend of mine.
Yes.
Her name was Charlotte Plant, and she wanted to dance with me because she fancied me. She won't remind me saying that.
Here we go.
It's true. I was not very good. I was not very good when I decided to dance. So I basically told my dad at 12 years old, I was like, look, I think I'm going to pack in football because I don't like being kicked in a freezing.
There's a really good looking girl who wants to dance with me.
Exactly. And do you know what it was, Ian? I loved dancing that little bit more than football. Yeah. I'd come home and I'd dance in my bedroom. I'd do it in the up and down the aisles of Asda's. Do you know what I mean? I would just want to dance all the time. Yeah. So that was when I kind of had to make the decision.
But was it difficult though? Because your dad is like an incredible, successful manager as well now, isn't he? Is it? Who is he? Aldershot,
Aldershot Town.
And your brother's a great footballer as well. Yeah. So, like, that must have been quite a tough decision. Probably you wanted to go with your heart, but at the same time, you're like, oh God, my dad's really wants me.
Yeah. But I think the best thing is he never forced me to. Whenever I played football, he would try and coach me, try and give me the right advice and do this, do that. But my heart wasn't in it as much as dancing was.
Yeah.
And in fairness, he always supports me. The whole story is he's from the northeast, so it's like the Billy Elliot dad moment. So I was like, Dad, I want to be a dancer, and he was like, why? I was like, loads of girls, and it's warm all the time. The weather's always the same in the art studio.
Yeah.
And he'd always supported me from then on. So I kind of, to answer the initial question, 12 was when I really started
decided that this is what you really wanted to do.
Committed to it. Yeah.
When I was I think I started from just literally a church hall 2 doors away from where my parents still live, actually, and it was sort of like everyone goes, oh well, did your parents want you? I was like, no. I just actually always wanted, like you, I was like, loved watching Top of the Pops, I loved listening to music, so I was thinking, maybe I'm need to be more of an entertainer rather than a dancer. But then I was like, ballroom and Latin classes, 50p. I mean, 50p. And then that's how old I am, guys. And then it was like, I actually love it. And I didn't think, do I like, it just was in my blood. I just like, I have to do this because it just made me feel good about what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was great actually to partner a girl. Do you know what I mean? To have that relationship and have that bond and to lead and follow it, which we will talk about later in terms of like partnerships and stuff. But you said about your family, they've always been supportive. Did they always come to the competitions? Were they always like cheerleading?
Always.
Like my dad, were they always like, that's a wrong decision and da-da-da-da, like,
The conspiracy theories of the results and all that. Yeah, no, my dad, so like when I was young, again, in juvenile, which is under 11, like they'd always come to that one competition I did a year, which was in Stoke-on-Trent. So it was like a big family outing and grandma would make packed lunches and all that. I'd go on to do it. They said, we got a recall to the Samba final or something. And I was like 10 years old in my little light crew and my bow tie. And I've got like half a tuna sandwich in my mouth. I'm going like that. But then I went the wrong way round.
Oh no.
Because in dancing, we go anti-clockwise around the floor. And I went clockwise and my dad's going to my teacher, look at him. Maverick, my son, going the wrong way, trying to be standing out. He went, no, Tom, he's going the wrong way.
He's going the wrong way of traffic.
With a half a tuna sandwich in his hand.
I don't know about you talking about food. I actually was never hungry until I finished the competition.
No,
I literally stuffed myself after. I think it was probably a bit of nerves, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I could never eat before or during. I always have to have a banana and that was it, and water, whatever. Yeah. But then as soon as I finished it,
ravenous.
I was literally just absolutely scoffing my face. So,
I had to eat all the time. I ate. When I was younger, I was extremely fit. I was like a runner and football and all that. I was still doing all of the athletic stuff, so I was just eating all the time because it would just fall off me.
Well, which that's good metabolism. Metabolism.
Yeah, good metabolism back then. But no, I remember in Blackpool, we did the semi-final for the junior Latin or something, and the final was in an hour. and we went out to that Bella Italia, you know, opposite the Winter Gardens, and I was like, I need to eat some. So I had like spaghetti and meatballs and just shoved it down because I was so hungry.
But you say in the junior, which we're going to get onto now, because you were world junior champion, which is an insane achievement, and because a lot of people don't know the ballroom and Latin industry, the amount of training you have to do, the lessons, you know, it's not just like turning up and the girl putting on a frock and you putting on a shirt and trousers and your Cuban heels. No. It's day and night, school, then you're practicing. And explain to people what it's like in terms of the rehearsals and the training and the lessons and to get up to that moment.
It's a great question. That it's so hard to explain because you're literally. I remember just being in autopilot, like it was just what I did every day after school, like school, dancing, school, dancing. And if we weren't having lessons, we were practicing, which means like there'd be, at my dance school, there'd be, you know, 3 or 4 lessons going on at one time on the floor. And I'd be in the corner with my partner practicing our rumba or samba or paso or something. And it was just relentless. But now I go, crikey, mate, we're doing like 4 hours a day. Like if you say someone danced 4 hours a day full out.
Yeah, it is.
After school, like it's just insane. But the amount of hours that we did was so much. It was so much. But I was just so, blinkered is the wrong word because I enjoyed it. It wasn't like I wasn't enjoying it, but I was so focused on, right, I've got to, because I could never win in the UK.
It's like
I could never win in the UK. So because I was up against people that had professional dance parents and there was politics involved in all of that. Yeah. So I knew that I had a chance to do kind of well when we went abroad to Paris, which is at the end of the year. No, because it was kind of international judges who didn't know who the couples were. Yeah. So, I was always kind of geared up for that competition at the end of the year in December at the World Championships in Paris. So, but we just worked so hard. And I hadn't danced with my partner, who I won it with, Natalia, that long. We did Britain's Got Talent the year before, we did Britain's Got Talent after that. But we'd been dancing together maybe 7 months. Oh, wow. But we were going crazy in terms of the rehearsals.
But I think it's so. I mean, knowing myself what it's like in the competitive industry, you're talking about a lot of, you know, the parents of people, and you know this and you know that. It is very much like that throughout, and I think that's probably why I sort of like, you know what, this is not for me anymore. I'll step away. You know, I've always loved ballroom and Latin, I always will, and thank God it's given me that platform to do what I do now. But it's really interesting to hear you say in terms of that as well, because you're a lot of a younger generation, and it was happening when I was there as well. And you sort of like see these people and you're like, oh, I'm actually more talented, but then I don't have that ability to continually get the lessons and stuff, like
all the money
and the money. And it was, you know, and you know, a lot of people can go, oh, well, you just give up. You just didn't want to do it. The reality of it is, I did want to do it. It's just the fact that I actually couldn't. I couldn't afford it. There was no such deals as now. There's a lot of sponsorship in terms of, which is great. There was not as much sponsorship. You had a few like the Chris Ann stuff, but unless you were the top, you wouldn't really get a lot. So I think that was one of the reasons why, and I wasn't enjoying competitive work.
No.
So I sort of like, that's it. I just don't want to do it. But like you said, it's so impressive being with someone only for 7 months and getting to that stage of that title. Were you involved in any type of creativity of it, in terms of any type of choreography? Or obviously we get a lot of our choreography from our teachers, but were you very specific about what you wanted to look like? Or
for me, like, I always looked to kind of the top guys who were you know, the pros at that time. So you know, the dance world will know, like, you know, your Sergeys, your Slavics, your Francos.
He's
the guy,
number one. I think
he's
incredible.
All of them were just, but I would like to look at different, because I remember you'd wait for world superstars to come round, which is
their dems,
and see their demonstrations that they would do, and you'd look and you'd see what they'd wear and what music they'd dance to and how they would dance to it. And I would kind of always take inspiration from that, and because that's all you had to go on, really. You only had YouTube. I mean, you know, luckily I did. I mean, you know, probably your generation probably didn't even have that.
Yeah, no.
So you did that in the nicest possible way. In the nicest possible way.
No.
I remember my teachers telling me that, like, we didn't have what you had.
Yeah,
you could look online and have a look.
Or just go on your phone, because we didn't even have like the smartphones. Like, you're just like,
exactly. So I would kind of take inspiration from that and go, well, they did that sort of step. Maybe we can kind of incorporate that sort of thing into our choreography. The shirts they would wear.
The idea of the silhouettes and everything, how they look.
The silhouettes, I was very tall, very young, so I kind of stood out. You know, when I won that world championship, if you look on YouTube at the video, I'm towering above everybody else. You got, you know, little.
Is he really under 16?
I know. That's what everyone said. They wanted to see my passport after I won it because I looked like 18 years old.
Yeah.
So yes and no. Like I was sort of like, basically like, what do the teachers want me to do? How can I do it, and how can I make it my own? Because I'd like to take, you know, little bits from different kind of people and try and make it kind of my own style. Yeah. But I just loved it. I loved all of it. I loved trying to be the best.
Yeah. That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
Absolutely, that's what it's about. I loved it. But yeah, it was tough, man. Like as going back to what I was saying, like I couldn't win a competition in the UK because of the, you know, my dad, for example, you know, my mum's a hairdresser, my dad's a football player. We turn up to a competition and you go, isn't that a bit weird that his parents are talking to the judges before the competition starts? Like, is that a bit strange? I go, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But that's just the way.
It's funny because because my parents were not even in that industry either. So I remember my dad had a nickname. Oh God, he'll curse me for saying this, but my dad had a nickname for someone, and it was at Bournemouth.
Okay.
And basically, you know, when you always get the marks out at the end.
Yeah.
He always used to call someone Mr. Tippex.
Oh, Mr. Tippex.
So basically what we had the names and then the marks of what you got from all of the judges. Yeah. And then there was sometimes some Tippex because obviously someone might have put something else. So he used to call someone Mr. Tippex.
That's right.
Yes, my dad was quite volatile. It was very like, he was so enthusiastic about it. He loved going every time.
Yeah.
But whenever it was a recall time, he would go missing. He couldn't stand it. He could be in the hall, like at Blackpool. When we got into the finals of the amateur, me and my partner, he was literally nowhere to be seen. And all of a sudden we got in, he was there. It's weird. It's just got so, he's probably more nervous than me.
Nervous, I think so.
Was your parents like that? But
Mum was always, she was always there to be, if we didn't make a recall or something, she was always there. It's okay, don't worry, it happens, it's fine. My mum was always
thrown off. What?
But the biggest supporter, like my mum and grandma were like crazy. Like they were there at every single competition. Like
that's brilliant.
Lucozades and oranges and bananas and
Sometimes you walk off and they're there and you're like, I don't want to. Just go away. Give me my space.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you won the world, and then let's talk about more of the TV aspect. How did you get onto Britain's Got Talent? What happened?
So. To burst people's bubble a little bit, the big queues you see for Britain's Got Talent queuing up to audition, we didn't do that. So we won the Worlds, and a researcher reached out to our dance school and said, "Would any of your would we like to go on the show?"
Yeah.
And they advised against it. Our teachers were like, well, you just won the Worlds. You're going to go like that now in the competition world. If you do this, it might be considered by the dancing world as not taking it seriously. Yeah. And I was like, nah, I want to meet Simon Cowell. So so we did.
Why would you not? Yeah,
exactly. So we did Britain's Got Talent the following May. So we won it in the end of the year, and then we did it the following year.
Wow. And that was with the girl you won
with Natalia. Natalia. So that was kind of the winning the Worlds was kind of the end, the beginning of the end of my comp career.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad way to end it.
Oh my God.
We take it.
A lot of people have done worse.
But yeah. But that was kind of how it started, and then we went for our audition in. And
who were the judges?
It was David Williams, Alicia Dixon, Amanda Holden, Simon.
Okay,
so it was a good four. It was a good four judges that they had, and then we did the audition in. I remember we botched together. I remember I had on. I can't believe I'm going to say. I had on a Primark waistcoat.
Oh my God.
And I was really skinny and really fit, and I was scared that I was going to look really skinny. I didn't want my arms out.
Yeah.
So I did, before I went on, I did 50 push-ups before I went
Where's Kai? He's just down there.
He's just down there doing push-ups. And I've got a hat from Accessorize.
Oh my God.
Accessorize, the thing. It had a few rhinestones on the side because I wanted to look like Michael Jackson. So I had a hat for it, and a Primark blazer, which I took off and then dried.
I think I remember. Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And I remember being absolutely bricking it. But I said something. I remember my grandma said to say something funny to me. She said, if they ask you, do you fancy each other, say that she fancies you a little bit, as in just to make the judges laugh.
I think you did.
And I did say it. Yeah. They did ask me that question. So I remember my grandma saying, if you get them on your side and make them laugh, that'll be good.
How did you feel that the judging panel was? Obviously you said that was a great judging panel. Were they very interactive with you? Did you have a lot of feedback from them?
Yeah. I remember walking out, just kind of going, oh my God, they're there. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. This is like, it's the weirdest POV ever, because you've been watching it all these years. Paul Potts, Diversity, Susan Boyle.
Oh my God.
You know, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I'm stood on the thing and I'm looking at, all right, so what do you do then? Oh, we're ballroom dancers.
Yeah.
I'm Kai, this is Natalia. I had to have loads of trials, before I got to Natalia. And then they went, oh, did you have loads of women?
Yeah.
You sound like Simon Cowell, and then I'm just trying to just go with it.
Yeah.
And then the dance happens and we're going to autopilot. I kicked the living daylights out of a jive. I remember going so crazy.
Yeah.
And then they were like, wow, we loved you. And, you're making ballroom fun and cool. And we did it to burlesque from, Christina Aguilera, show me how you burlesque.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I remember Simon Cowell said to me, if you come back, we want to see something a bit different, a bit more, more modern. And, and I was like, I'm sure we could do that.
Yeah.
Didn't know what.
Simon Cowell says that I'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then when we got the 4 yeses, he gave me the thumbs up.
The thumbs and the wink.
The thumbs and the wink. So I was like,
my God.
It was
that's quite pinnacle, isn't it? Simon Cowell with the thumbs and the wink. It's like,
I mean, it went amazingly well. I mean, I watched the routine back and kind of cringed because we botched together this routine, for one side when you usually do a dance for 4 sides in competition world. But it was great.
But that's good though, Kai, because my next question is about what it does for Latin dance on TV.
Yeah.
Because obviously Strictly was around at the time.
Yeah.
It's very formatized, but it sort of makes Latin a bit more relatable to younger people. And I think that is so important. I think what you've done was very important, because I think there wasn't really anyone who really went for anything in terms of Latin to make it look cool for a young couple to do.
Exactly.
I think it's important.
Exactly. I think it is important to make it relatable. I think that's the most important thing. I think because what we do is so niche. Yeah. It's so different. Even dancers that we work with now are like, crikey, I could, they dance for Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, but they can't do what we do because it's so different and so disciplined. I think but to make it relatable and make it accessible for especially youngsters, which is obviously something I'm passionate about, is important. But I didn't realize I was doing it then. I was just doing it because I wanted to meet Simon Cowell. Yeah. But obviously the reason why we got on the show is because, Strictly was doing that, and they needed a ballroom and Latin couple to make it.
And Alicia being on there as well.
Exactly.
Perfect,
Exactly. So,
and you got in the final. Final, not the semis, the final.
We made the final, we did.
And that's brilliant for a Latin. Just one couple, not just like a lot, just one couple.
I think we're the only ballroom and Latin couple to do that, which is cool.
Then 2 years after.
Yeah.
Now I remember commenting on this actually on Facebook, because I was at a point in my career where I was a bit sick and tired of the industry in terms of it being very one-dimensional, and you're not allowed to do this because it will offend people, because then you're not getting the money from them. It's very it's very niche. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do competitive. And the fact that you guys, I mean, list the names you worked with on that: Neil and Katja, Ryan Ksenia, and of course Kerry. And it was just so cool and edgy. And I remember the judges' reactions when they watched it.
Yeah.
They were really taken back by going, wow, this is what Latin can do, ballroom can do.
Yeah. And there was just 5 couples. It wasn't even that many.
How did that come about?
So that came about, I remember, it makes me laugh that I actually say this. Obviously, I'd just bear in mind, I'd made the final. So you've done everything but win, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really need to go back and do it again. Yeah. But I got a call from Ryan McShane.
Yeah.
And he said, we've got this Latin group that have been asked to go on Britain's Got Talent, and we need a partner to dance with Kerry.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I mean, who's in it? Neil, Katja, me, Ksenia. So the number 1, number 2 in the country. Kerry was number 3 or number 2 as well. And we need you to dance with her. And I was like, but I've just done it 2 years ago. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of, what do you want me for? He's like, well, you're amazing and we'd love to have you as a part of it. And obviously, I looked up to these guys. I was having lessons with Neil and Katja at the time. And I was like, do you know what? F it. I'm going to do it because this is just going to be a great experience. And it really was. Like, we did some really cool stuff. And I remember when we did the audition, that they didn't think, the producers, so this is how TV works. Yeah. They record it. Yeah. And then they recorded it and they were going, oh, we actually didn't realize that you'd be that good. We didn't have all the cameras on.
Oh,
so can you do it again without the judges there so we can get different camera angles?
Yeah, because you see, it's so clever how they did it, but obviously that wasn't the first time.
They cut it all together. So, and what I do remember happening is, this is, TV production, is Simon Cowell, it was the first to comment or something after we done it. And he said, this is the best dance group we've ever had on the show. But that never made the edit.
Oh, you're joking.
No, because I think that the producers wanted to go in a different direction that year. I can't remember who won. It was like Calabro or something, or whatever. Whoever won that year or something. But it wasn't a dancey year.
Yeah.
But we had so much fun, especially that routine that we did in the audition. I think that went kind of viral. I think we had like 4 or 5 million views or something for that.
I just loved it because it was so different and unique. And obviously I didn't know you. I knew of you.
Of us,
I knew Kerry. I knew obviously Ksenia and Ryan and obviously Neil and Katja. And I knew from those names it was going to be very creative.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be choreology, I like to call it. It's
choreology. I like that.
I got that from Richard Porter.
I like that.
And it's sort of making choreography, light and shade, and having the ups and downs, and not being like static all the time, being everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was just really, I loved it. And I thought it was you should be so proud of what you guys did on that show, because I don't think it's praised enough for what you did. It sort of made it mainstream. You get the contemporary groups who are incredible. I love contemporary. And you get the commercial groups. They're so on it and they're so sharp, but they get all of the glory. But I don't ever think Latin gets the glory it does. And I think you just made it slightly different, which is great.
I think so. And I don't think you're going to see anyone else like that do what we did.
No.
Because you look at the competitive world now, they're not going to go and do that. And we danced in Converses and trackies.
Yeah.
We wanted to make it cool. And knee pads outside of our, we wanted to be edgy. We wanted to be cool.
Absolutely.
For 2014.
2014.
But it was just a heck of a lot of fun.
11 years ago now. Wow.
I know. Mad.
My God.
But it was so much fun, and I wouldn't change it. I'm glad, we only made the semi-final. I say only made the semi-final. We made the semi-finals. We got knocked out in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
But it was
that was another
fun.
great routine. I remember that as well, with the phone box, and very British, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and the times we had together as a group, staying up, stoning our costumes until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
All of those things. It was just so much fun to be a part of that
and
group.
have friends around you at the same time, which is even better. Which I've had a lot of people on here, and they're talking about the industry. It's so important to have people around you who you're friendly with and you get on with, because that just makes it so easy.
Absolutely.
Let's move on from there.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 1 to 3 years, and you started it a year before, but I didn't start it till 2017, is Dancing with the Stars in Ireland. This is when obviously I first started to work with you.
Yeah.
How did you find that experience, and what did it teach you?
Well, I mean, I think I can owe all of my TV, let's say, choreographing for TV experience to Dancing with the Stars, because I learned how to choreograph for a camera, not for an audience.
Yeah. It's so different. It's completely different.
It's completely different. And, I would always sing the highest praises for that show, because, and thank, Darren and Lilia for asking me to be a part of it. Because it really was a lot of fun. And it really, for want of a better term, I learned my craft. For when then Strictly called me and I got onto Strictly. I felt like I'd had 4 years of kind of boot camp training, because I had 2 kind of really good partners and 2 that, weren't the best dancers, let's say.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of had every kind of partner possible to
so
go
you had
in.
the experience of the journey, as it were, as being with people.
I remember, this was so funny. Darren Bennett, the creative director, wanted us for, he was like, right, show dancers are coming up in a couple of weeks if you make the final. Yeah. We've got sort of a vision of, Katy Perry Raw, or Adele Make You Feel My Love, or something of that nature. And I was like, well, this film's just come out, and I think it's going to be huge. And there's this song called This Is Me.
Yeah.
And it's a female vocalist.
Yeah.
She's singing her heart out, and it's just come out. And I don't think any other Strictly or Dance with the Stars is on right now.
Yeah.
We could be the first ones to do this. And it was like, oh no, I don't know. We might have to do the other one. We don't know if this film's going to be big or not. And I was like, just listen to it.
Yeah.
She wants to do it. I'd love to do it. And we ended up getting a nod after a few back and forth.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the highlight for me for that season. And it was, a very emotional final. Obviously, we didn't win. Jake and Karen won. But we felt like we kind of won in terms of what we wanted to achieve.
I think that your final performance, I remember watching, I remember the whole place just stood. I think it was one of those silent moments when you could hear a pin drop, and it was a beautiful, not just the brilliant choreography. It was sensational. I remember watching the director's tape because we were all sitting in the creative meeting watching it, and we were like, "Oh my God, wow, this is just," because you did it with Julia. Like
that's right.
And we were like, "This is incredible."
Yeah.
I remember, and then the set in with the barriers around the outside and the lighting at the end and and then the covering. It actually gave me goosebumps.
Oh, me too now.
It was something I don't think that Dance with the Stars has seen since. I don't think, because it was so captivating, and the sentiment and everything. You know, the celebrity didn't have to be the best in the world.
No.
But she was amazing, and I think she captured the people's hearts. But I think what really captured the people's hearts was how you interpreted it, and how everything just to come together in that one moment.
Absolutely.
I think for me that was probably one of the highlights of the whole. If there's all of the seasons I've ever worked on. It was beautiful.
It really felt it. And I remember when we did this bit at the end, I remember choreographing it. I was just like, I said to her, I said, "You're going to want to hug me. I'm going to want to hug you. But when the last bit comes, you know, when it says, 'This is me,' and then there's no music and the audience clap, I said, just look at me and just take this moment in, because it's the last dance you're ever going to dance." So I remember looking and just like taking like 4 big breaths, and then just like,
I think actually it looked choreographed as well.
It
not choreographed, but it looked...
Yeah.
It just looked like it was an end performance of a massive singer, and there just was the breath, and you just get it all in. And because I think it was not until you'd had the breaths then that everyone was like erupted. It was a beautiful moment, and it was the last dance of that season. It was the last. It was brilliant.
That's right.
All of your choreographies, I think you were one of the only people who I was like, actually, you don't have to worry about what you choreograph, because you always know what to put to music. There are a lot of people who choreograph, but it's by numbers. It's not by start, middle, end. It's not a story. So I think, and also I another one, I actually wasn't there that week, but you did a great Charleston as well with
in the blue,
with
Bang Bang. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was another highlight for me. I thought that was fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Moving on, Strictly Come Dancing, new pro on that. I mean, getting your first partner.
Yep.
AJ. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I mean, that sort of happened. That was a fairy tale beginning, and then, I mean, I think everyone was like, "I can't believe this." At the end, what happened? So, talk me through how you got the call for Strictly, how your first year was, and then...
So what happened was, we'd finished, it actually tails from the last season of Dancing with the Stars. So we finished Dancing with the Stars and COVID happened. We had the semi-final that became the final, and then I flew home the following day, and then COVID happened for however many weeks it was. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll get a chance to get in shape. Maybe I can do Dancing with the Stars one more year, and then maybe do, Strictly next year, because they weren't
obviously people didn't know what we
didn't know
doing
coming back or not, and Dance with the Stars didn't come back that year.
No, it didn't. No.
So I remember doing an interview for Strictly, and I spoke to them on Zoom, and and then there was like silence for like 8 weeks, and I was like pulling my hair out.
It's like waiting for the most important job in the world.
I know.
Like, just tell me yes or no, because it's
exactly. And then the phone rings, and it's one of the producers who says, and I'm sort of just, pacing in the garden, in my dad's garden.
That sounds like me on any call. Just pacing. I always pace on a call.
I said, hello. And they said, hello, Kai. We just want to say we would love to have you as part of the group dances, but unfortunately this year we're not taking on any new pros because of the reduced amount of celebs because of COVID.
Right.
So it wasn't a no, but it was, we want you to be part of the group dances. And I was like, your ego gets hit because you go like, I really wanted you to take me. A few lads had left, and then you have to kind of swallow it and go, this is an opportunity to go in, get in the rehearsal room with the guys, show them what you've got, show them,
and be seen by these people.
Exactly,
saying, I deserve a partner. Yeah,
exactly. Why you deserve to be there. So I wasn't employed as a strictly professional. I was effectively an extra dancer, really.
Yeah.
But during this process of rehearsals, where we were kind of isolated in a hotel, they said to me, right, this is our kind of way of saying to you that we really like you, and we'd love you to be the lead in the remembrance number. And it's going to be a dedication to Dame Vera Lynn, who passed away that year. and it's going to be filmed at the White Cliffs of Dover, and there's going to be this drone shot.
I remember it.
And I wasn't a pro then. So that was a big kind of, we like you.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wait till next year.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first, I was like, okay, there is a chance here.
Yeah.
And then obviously the following year, I get the call and we say, we'd love to have you. So that's kind of how it came about initially. So it was a bit of buffering in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of nice really, because I kind of got into the rehearsals, wasn't a pro, didn't do the season, came back round, and then I was kind of like, okay, I know what the rehearsal process is like. I can get my teeth stuck into it. So it was kind of nice.
Tell the people what it's like, because obviously you see the VTs,
mm-hmm.
you see you having a laugh and stuff, and then you sometimes quite serious, and then you go to different locations, and then you see the end product on the Saturday night, and you get judged in it. Tell us a typical week of a Strictly Pro, from like obviously the Saturday, obviously everything filmed, but the whole week. What happens?
Well, first of all, no days off.
Yeah,
you don't get a day off. So let's start from Monday. So Monday, you've got your first day of rehearsals with your celeb. You'd have choreographed it the night before. You go in with your celeb.
Yeah.
You teach them what I would say, the bones or the skeleton of the routine. So I don't need you to be perfect today. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to teach you this. I'm going to teach you how to do it.
Get ready for this.
And then I'm going to teach you how to do it in the next couple of days. If I'm lucky, if they learn it. If not, I'll strip it back and make it even more simple.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Wednesday. Bearing in mind, you've got It Takes Two in there somewhere.
So you've got
half a day. Yeah. One of those is half a day. Then you've got VTs in there. So let's say we're doing Samba. I know I've got an idea. We're going to go to a trampoline park because there's bounce in Samba. And so that's another half a day. So that's really 3.5 days of rehearsal.
Yeah.
Then we get to Friday. Friday is the day we call the camera blocking day. So it's where we go in, we have 3 goes of our dance without the band.
Yeah.
And then we have to do media. We have to do the press association, where we sit on Zoom and they ask us all these burning questions that we never answer because they ask these horrible questions. And
do you do that as well? I never actually.
So we sit a little bit like this. There'll be a laptop here, and then we'll speak to the press association.
Is this every week?
Every week on a Friday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then so we have to do that. Then we have to do costume fittings Friday. So we get all the costume fittings. And then we do the social media, which in fairness, the social media team are absolutely amazing. So I quite enjoy that bit. It's quite fun.
Yeah.
And then the most important bit, the fake tan.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Car your fake tans in fine. Yes, I'm there.
Literally. I'm walking up with a towel and the rope.
Yeah.
And then Saturday comes, it's usually an early call.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get 2 band calls with the band. So meaning you get 2 runs with the band, and it's very sort of one in, one out. Sets on.
Okay.
Say it's Ian and Dame Judi Dench. Ian and Dame Judi Dench to go do their cha-cha-cha. 2 runs. I'm waiting in the wings, getting my shoes ready, scrubbing my partner's shoes.
Yeah.
We go on. We do our 2 band calls. It's very much like that. You go maybe get a coffee.
Yeah.
Relax.
A much needed one.
And then we do a dress run on the Saturday. So we do a dress rehearsal with Tess, with Claude.
Yeah.
With 4... producers as judges.
Yeah.
And the judges are in their rooms watching it on the TV.
Similar to Ireland then.
Exactly. Very similar to Ireland. And then we break, we chill as much as we can. And then the live show happens. And then obviously the biggest unkept secret in TV history is the result show is filmed on the same night. So
I mean, I think probably everyone knows that, but it's a nice little Santa Claus secret.
Santa Claus secret.
It's a Santa Claus secret. I mean, it's so much. Because, it looks amazing. I mean, it is amazing for you guys to be part of it and to be part of creatives and stuff. But, that week is intense.
It doesn't
It's not like, and then all in between thing, you probably got people photograph. Do you know what I mean? So you've got all of the paparazzi as well. Yeah. It's hard on, and it's quite intrusive sometimes. And you get to a point where you're like, just get out myself. I just want to concentrate on that. But I just want to. It wasn't what I was going to ask you, but I just want to take you back to that moment when you lifted Angela Rippon's MBE leg. I mean, I think the CBE. I think the whole, not just the nation, the whole world went, what the.
So let me take it back. Let me paint the picture.
Wow.
It's even funnier how it came about, right? So bearing in mind, I've done 2 seasons. I'd made the final and all that. Got knocked out week 1 the following year. So I've gone boom, boom, and then I get Angela, and she's the oldest contestant she's ever had, 80 years old. And we get Shirley Bassey, get this party started as our first dance and cha-cha-cha. And I go, right, what on earth am I going to do? And there's this big note at the end. Just, the party started.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't lift her because we're not allowed to do lifts. So what can I do? And then I rang my dad and I was just chatting to him in the evening. I went, I've got this thing at the end of the dance. I don't know what I'm going to do. He went, you ever watch Morecambe and Wise? I went, no.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I went, no. Why would I have ever watched Morecambe and Wise? And he said, well,
listen, Kai, you are too young. You're too young.
Yeah. I said no. And he went, well, watch it. So I went in the following day and had my phone. I said, what's Morecambe and Wise? And she went, oh, it's this show I did back in the 70s. I went, okay. My dad's told me to watch it, but he said, watch it with you. So I think I'm the only person that ever watched Angela's Morecambe and Wise moment with Angela for the first time. So I was watching, and then all of a sudden these legs come up, and I went, are you still this flexible? She went, I am, but I can't do Tuesdays.
Oh, she's brilliant.
And then, no, so I said, are you this flexible? Oh, are you still flexible? And she goes, well, I don't know. Find out. So
she seems like that sort of person. Well,
she is. She's find out. So I went, how high can you get it? So probably there. I went, all right, go on then. And I've sort of got her like here. So she's like kicking this way. Yeah. And I kick it and she kicks it and I go, blimey heck, I would do that again. And she kicks it and I caught it and I went, does it go any higher than this? She went, I don't know. Find out. So it was sort of like countdown in reverse.
Oh my
so it was
God.
like this way, and it's up and up and up, and she's sort of looking, going like this, and I'm going, and it sort of like touches her nose, and I was like, well, I think we'll use that.
For people who are actually listening to this, I'm actually, my mouth is wide open listening to this. This is like, no way.
It was just unbelievable. And then we did it in the band. So the Friday, the band call, the camera blocking, and we've obviously got the producers and the choreographers and everybody's watching. And we do this kind of cha-cha, which is very like old school cha-cha. And then we get to this moment, and then the leg goes up and everyone's just going, what is going on? And it just doesn't make any sense. And then that's how it came about. And obviously we nailed it on the night. And I think it made every single national newspaper front page the following day.
Oh, she's an icon. I mean, that lady is just, I mean, she originally presented the Come Dancing, which I used to watch when I was younger. And it was totally different, but she's sort of like, it's sort of like a whole circle she's done now, like from presenting and now to being that. I mean, she's got so much grace and elegance
and class.
And
and we made it to Blackpool, and we got knocked out in Blackpool, where she presented Come Dancing originally. So we met at, our VT where we met was in Blackpool in the Tower Ballroom, and it just felt so fitting. I remember saying to her in our exit speech, I said, I remember, and I always said this to her, and she didn't mind me saying, because there's 51 years between us, right? And I said, you remind me of my grandmother because of the way that you are with me. Like, she always kind of mothered me. And you're right, Poppet. You're right, Poppet. Little things like that. And it was just, I remember being in Blackpool talking to Tess as we got eliminated. And I remember like just over Tess's shoulders where we used to sit in Blackpool when we competed. I remember Grandma used to think, and it all kind of came flooding back. And it was just the most kind of full circle, but beautiful moment. Yeah. It was a beautiful moment. And she said some lovely words. And it was just like the most amazing experience. I will treasure her forever. She's just the best.
She's incredible. And we will talk a little bit about her again in a bit.
Yeah.
One thing left I wanted to talk to you about was what happened in last season. It's like just finished last season. Is your performance with RAYE.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've seen this woman live. I'm an absolute number one massive fan of this lady.
Yeah.
What was it like? I've been in a room listening to her, but what was it like actually being in the room with her and performing to one of her songs? I mean, with Lauren, you two are just exquisite together, just incredible.
Thank you.
What was that like? I mean, I watched that and was like, I have to repost. This is incredible.
Well, I got really lucky because what happened was she did two. So she did that one, the one you're talking about.
She did,
and then she did another. So they said, we'd love you to do the other one as well. So it was me and Luba that did this kind of swingy.
It's from a Royal Albert Hall concert album.
Yeah, it's a real kind of swingy old school Amy Winehouse RAYE vibe, right?
Yeah.
And I remember she came on for the rehearsal, and we went, we don't know if she turned up for rehearsal, but she turned up for rehearsal in her socks with a microphone round her neck.
Oh, she's got this thing now.
She puts it around there. Yeah. And she went, all right, are you the dancers? I went, yeah, lovely to meet you. I'm a massive, massive fan.
Yeah.
I've listened to her music over and over at this point to try and prepare for this. And obviously we come on for this thing. And I remember she just sort of started looking at us like that. And we did this dance, and it was a rehearsal. Yeah. And a sound check for her, and she came up to me after. I went, how was that? She went, oh, you're well fit.
Oh no!
I didn't know if she meant like, is an attractive thing or like as in physically fit or whatever. But I you can take it how you want. But I remember that interaction with her. But to talk about the one that you
that doesn't surprise me. She'd come out with something like that. Though.
No.
She just seems very much like as an Adele. She'd just come out with
But the voice, like she would. I remember the floor manager said to us, we're gonna need she just wants to kind of get the sound of the room. And so she sat down on this little vocal podium, and she sat, with a thing like that. And she's just going, you know how she does these ad libs. She goes, and we're all going like, oh my God.
She just opens her mouth and it just comes.
It's like liquid platinum. It's like incredible. But the one that, usually, as you know, working on Dancing with the Stars, sometimes you get 2 goes at things. So sometimes we'll do it again because they don't, or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to do it again. And, we did both in 1 go, but we were told that Oscar-winning Tears was only going to be 1 go because of that end note.
Oh God, yes.
And if you've seen my social media, there's a thing where me and Lauren had this lift.
Yes.
And the day before we were practicing, and we had the track playing, so it wasn't her. And we'd fallen out of this lift.
Insane lift, though.
Insane lift. Yeah, this big lift, like Lauren's like that, and I've got to pressage her up there. And we get told 5 minutes before saying, this is only going to be 1 take. So just so you know, like, thanks for telling me that. Like, we needed added pressure. It's already a big song. It's for the final and all that. And then we get to this moment. I remember there's this big boom, boom. And on the boom, boom, I have to go boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I remember screaming at the top of my lungs, like, like lock out and stay up. And Lauren's like up there holding it for dear life. And then Ray just goes, and does this big note. And it was just like the biggest relief ever because we nailed it. All 4 couples nailed it, and it was just, that was a great moment. I think that'll go down as one of the best numbers we've ever done because I think of how iconic she is and how iconic she's gonna be.
Oh, she's
going
not even
there.
Touched. Yeah,
no.
I remember actually listening to her older stuff, which was very much sort of like clubby dance and sort of like poppy.
Yeah,
and the thing what always resonated when she was like, I really never got to do what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do, and they were like, why do you want to do stuff like this for? And that was the sort of thing when I was in, why do you want to do theatre? Why do you want to? And it's that very like looking down on you, like, because I'm getting paid for it and I love doing it. That's why.
Exactly.
And I think she's sort of like that Amy Winehouse we haven't got no more.
Yeah.
Because she's got that vocal, she's got the look, she's incredibly talented,
she's gorgeous
and stunning. I mean, I've seen her in life, but not in like. I mean, she's been up to you,
yeah. She's only little, but she's gorgeous. Like she's stunning, and it's funny. Like her family were there, her mother, and they were like, "Oh, thank you so much for doing that dance."
Really?
I was like,
all very much like
very grateful, and she said, "Oh, thank you so much for doing that dance." That dance is amazing because obviously she's never had anyone dance for her, and it was just the most amazing feeling, and I think I'll take that one to the grave.
So Kai Widdrington, creative director for RAYE's next album. That sounds like a plus. Don't forget me, Kai, will you?
You can be the choreographer.
That's right, perfect. Now, you do so much work with the Strictly and everything. What do you do on a day off? What do you like to do?
Golf.
Oh, I knew that was going to be it.
Just golf. I love it. You know what it is? It's something that I've always enjoyed as a kid, and it's been very peaceful, very tranquil, very calm.
Yeah.
There's no phones. There's no, it's not you're not drink. Well, I don't, but people drink on a golf course. I don't. I just love walking around. It's 4 and a bit hours, 4 hours, just with your friends or with my brother.
Open space, nothing there.
Fresh air. You go for a walk, and it's just really enjoyable. Like, I love it because you can get better at it. You can't perfect it. You can't perfect the game. bit like tennis. You can't perfect it. It's all about percentages.
Yeah, I know that.
So it's, I just really love it. And, obviously I've been very lucky to get to go to, Miami and Dominican and all that and play in these amazing courses. But even when the weather's nice here, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Taking us back a little bit, I remember when it was lockdown, we were talking a little bit about lockdown when we had to do it, and you were with your family and you'd done a lot of lockdown videos with your brother and your dad, which I thought were absolutely hilarious. So how did that, what did you, let's just do some.
Yeah, do you know what? It was funny. Like, you'll know who it is. Des Bishop, who's a good friend of mine.
Yes.
He's, for those who don't know who he is, they probably do because he's gone viral with loads of videos. He's an Irish-American comedian who did
Dance with the Stars. He did the first season. I wasn't there for the first, but I remember him.
That's right. He did the first season of Dancing with the Stars, became a very good friend, and still is a good friend now.
Yeah.
And he, before I flew back to England for the COVID lockdown, he was like, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called TikTok?" Yeah. I went, "No." He went,
"That wasn't really the big.
Wasn't a big thing then. It was like it's this thing from like Asia, man. Everyone's doing dances. You should do some dances too." Yeah. Sorry for the American accent. And I was like, "Oh, whatever. I don't know, whatever." And then there was like a campaign. It was like, move to flatten the curve or something, or dance to flatten the curve or something.
There were so many. Yeah,
so many like that. It was a hashtag this, hashtag. And then there was the one that came out, and it was what's that Weekend song? Dun, 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 dun,
oh yeah,
dun, dun. You know that song? I can't feel your touch.
Yeah.
And there was this dance that was this thing, dun, dun, and I was like, I should just ask my brother and my dad if they want to get involved. And it went like, viral. Back then it was viral. We had like, 500,000 views and I had no followers. And people were like, "Oh, we need more of these. We need more of these."
So we'll do it.
So we ended up doing Jailhouse Rock. We ended up doing Hey
I remember
Daddy.
the Jailhouse Rock. I remember.
Yeah, with the leather jackets, and they would always say, "Oh, Kai was a nightmare. He was trying to choreograph us in my living room and all that."
But I think the thing of it is, though, I think actually that was a bit of an escape because you can do nothing.
Yeah,
so you're just like, let's just have fun, like doing and actually getting loads of people following me. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
Exactly.
Right now, let's take us to current day. You're currently about to prep for a big tour.
Yes.
Let's tell everyone what it's called, what it's about, and how it came about.
Well, it's called Evolution, and I think it comes at an appropriate time in my life. As I feel like I'm about to turn 30. I feel like I'm kind of getting into a different chapter in my life.
Yeah.
I've done Strictly for 4 years, sorry. And obviously last year I didn't get a partner. And sometimes you need those setbacks in life to kind of like I was talking about the very first thing we said about being hungry.
Yeah.
And sometimes
your brain working and really going for it.
And get back into it. And for me, I feel like I'm really ready to get my teeth stuck back into dancing again and get hungry with it. And obviously I've got my choreographer, Scott, who's directing and choreographing the show for me. And I can't wait to get back in the studio. I think this is the hungriest I've been for a long time to get back into the studio, because the thing with my own tour is I get to do what I want to do and dance to the music that I want to dance to, that I've always wanted to dance to. And it's a little bit like this podcast. It's going to be a story about a bit like what we've spoken about, but through dance. And there will be a lot of storytelling moments. I want to tell people how I got into dancing and how I was, to use the American term, the jock of the school. I was the kid that played football. I was the athletics champion. I was the county champion. I was the rugby captain. Yeah. But I also did ballroom dancing and was ripped to shreds for doing it. Yeah. And how you can kind of overcome that, and how you can, if you have a dream, you should always believe and try and chase that dream, because once that fire burns out, it might not come back. And for me, if I'd have not danced, then I would have had a big question mark.
What am I doing? What do I want to do?
Yeah, what would I have done if I hadn't have been a dancer? So it's kind of a bit of a,
probably in the Premiership.
Maybe in the Premiership, but would I have been happy?
No, probably
would I have
not.
been happy? And it for me, it's going to be about my life story. It's going to be about struggles of this and kind of basically what we've spoken about, all of those moments of winning a world championship, working on a cruise ship for 6 months, touring around China, letting people into the kind of things that we've spoken about Strictly, and about how sometimes times are tough and you've got to get through them, but ultimately you've got to look at the person in the mirror and go, this is what you were born to do. I love to entertain, I love to dance, I love to perform for people, and ultimately, I want to give them a bit of an emotional roller coaster. If I can make them laugh and cry in the space of 2 hours.
And I don't want to give too much because I want people to obviously go and see it, and you can give details about how people can go and see it.
Yeah.
But will you be speaking through it, or is it just through dance, or how is it?
I will be speaking through it. I think it's important to, I'm not going to say I love the sound of my own voice, but I love to chat to the audience. I've done a couple of tours in the past, the Pro Tour, the Strictly tours and all that. And it's really fun. Yeah. I really love the, I'm good friends with Anton de Beek. Yeah. And he tells me a lot about Bruce Forsyth. And about how
incredible stories.
Yeah, oh my gosh, wow. Yeah. I did a golf podcast with him about all the stories as well. So if you want to listen to that, you can listen to that. But he would always tell me stories about the old school showmanship of the old school entertainer of the little jokes and the little this and the little that with the audience. I love it.
Which doesn't really happen now.
It doesn't happen now. It's very serious and it's very this. And I think people just want to go and have a laugh. Yeah. They want to go and enjoy it, and they want to feel like they're not, you must watch this dance performance and I'm going to be all serious. There needs to be light and shade. It can't always be like, look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah. They want to feel like they're getting to know you. They want to feel like they're getting a glimpse behind the curtain of what you really are. Everyone sees Strictly and they see
they think they know who you are by watching you and just by going, oh my God, Kai's a great dancer, he looks great. But they don't know you as a person. So for this is a great way to show it.
I'm really going to, get behind the curtain and show you who I am. And, going to tell you about all the different parts of my life where it's been easy, where it's been hard, where I've been lucky at times. And I want to make them laugh. I want to make them cry. And I want them to leave feeling like, wow, I really enjoyed it. It was a great show, but I really feel like I got to know him. Yeah. And going into,
that's actually important.
Yeah.
Did you pick any like music and stuff for it in terms of where you go, this is sort of what I want to do? Towards?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's important if you're showing about you as well.
Absolutely. The music is a reflection of myself. Okay. I think, and I've always loved good music. I've always loved rich music, that's classic, even the modern stuff that's in there. Stuff that just either makes me want to dance to it or that makes me go, wow. Like I've always been a sucker for really good music.
Speak to me a little bit about the Angela Rippon Let's Dance, the National Day of Dance, but also you want to try and get dance into schools.
Yes.
What's happening with this?
So this has been a big passion of mine for a while, and I never knew how to get it off the ground. And when I met Angela, I told her about this kind of passion that I'd love to get dancing into schools, because I remember being in school and, not everyone has a dad who was a Premier League football player that could afford dance lessons, 20 quid a week or 20 quid per lesson or whatever. I remember being in school and Step Up came out, and there was loads of lads in my school that were really good at dancing, but they couldn't afford the lessons. And I remember being like, God, if only we had like dance regulated in school, that was like once a week, part of our PE, that people could learn to dance for nothing. Yeah. And then fast forward with Angela, I go, this is what I've had in my idea. I just don't know how to get it off the ground. Yeah. And at the same time, she kind of found her calling in terms of what she wanted to do in life was get the nation dancing, because it's the best way to get fit through your mental, through your physical, social. Like, you have to dance to music, for crying out loud. You're not on a treadmill running. And, it's the best form of exercise for anybody, any age, from cradle to grave, as she would say. And, you're investing in your well-being pension pot, because it's about prevention. You don't want it. It will cause less falls for people over the age of 60, people with Parkinson's and with Alzheimer's. It's quite incredible what it can do. And we've seen the results. So my thing is like, right, how do we get the youngsters doing it? Because we're in an age where TikTok is a thing and people are dancing all the time, but why don't we get them dancing at school with people, not just in front of an iPhone? I use this as an example, like we tried everything in school. We did rugby, we did tennis, I hated hockey, right? Because someone would slap the shins off me, but I tried it. Yeah. So therefore I know I don't like it.
It's not your calling.
Yeah,
exactly.
But at least I tried it. So that's the same with dance, especially for the young boys of today, specifically. I want to give them a chance to not like it. Yeah. So if you like it, great. If you don't, great. Yeah. At least you tried.
You tried it. I think it's very important. I think it's great what you're doing, because I think it is. I never had that. And obviously through your childhood, you never really had that in schools. No. And I think it is important. And I think even if you're a trained dancer, to have that partner work, to have that ability to lead and follow, it's so important. And for where dancing is going, I just think it's great. And absolutely. I really wish you the best with that, because I think it's going to be great. I think it's a very important message for young people of today to understand discipline as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's brilliant. Taking on that side of it about with people like Angela Rippon and your dad, who's a massive inspiration, and your parent and your mum and your brother and sister. Who inspires you?
I think I'd have to look at sort of my granddad, really. So to give people a little bit of information, like probably people don't know, my granddad's from Hong Kong. So he's Chinese. He's very old now. Yeah. He's still with us, but he's very old. He's got Parkinson's. But he went to school, and I promise this is true because I've got photo evidence. He was
my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes. I know what you're going to say, and this is one of my idols.
Yeah.
Go.
So he was in the same class and in the same school in the same year as Bruce Lee.
Oh my God.
So, and I've got the photo at home, like it's true. And I just used to look up to him so much, like in such a different way that I did to my dad, because he was so different. And I remember him saying to me when I was 14, I was really skinny, but I was really fit. So we've got to get you in the gym now because you need to get shape. So he said, whatever time, I'm gonna get you a gym membership, so you learn the value of money when you have to pay for it, as to how good this gym is, and when you learn the value of money. But I'm going to pick you up and I'm going to drop you to school, and you call me the night before and you tell me, and I'll be there outside. So I said, okay. So he used to pick me up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He'd be there at 5:45. And bear in mind, he's about 75 at this point.
Oh my God.
About 70 odd.
Yeah.
And we'd go to the gym, we'd work out, and then he'd take me to a B&Q burger van and get me a burger because of like replacing calories. And then he'd take me to school. And he'd kind of give me these like life lessons, and like he's what I would say is my Mr. Miyagi. So like the Karate Kid story, he's very much like that for me because of him being, from Hong Kong, and he was a martial artist and he was a bodybuilder. He was a martial artist as well. Yeah. And it was the maddest thing. Like it was, when I think of it, and if I write a book one day, it'll be the most mad recollection. But the best way I could describe my relationship with my granddad is if you look at the Karate Kid movies, the original ones, that was my relationship. It was like my best friend.
He taught you everything, like
everything, everything, discipline. And he would always say, he would always have a competitive. He's like, just think, when you walk into school today and you're sat and you're bored and you're in science, just remember that you've done more than anyone else this morning. Because you've been to the gym and you've worked hard and you've earned it, and you think, and then you're going to go and dance later, and then you're going to do it again. And that's kind of always how I had a bit of a mental edge. And it gave me this kind of always stay hungry. As soon as talent means nothing.
No, it doesn't.
Hard work beats talent every day of the week. And I'd like to say that I think I was a talented dancer as a youngster, but because I worked hard, that's why I got successful. And that's why you've got to keep working hard. You can't stop.
I actually can't get, because my brother used to do martial arts and he was always a fan of like Bruce Lee. And I remember just watching the Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, and just watching him against Chuck Norris.
When he rips his chest hair off.
And like, I was like in awe. Like, this is like, and we all, as a family, always just to sit and watch it. I was just in awe of him. And there was one, I always used to be really scared. There was this one, I think it was one of his last films, where he was going through these buildings. And
the big guy.
Oh my God. He was sitting down and he got up the seat and he was, 7 foot, I don't know how tall he was. And Bruce Lee
Game of Death.
Yeah, the Game of Death. It was his last film before he died.
That's right.
And literally, I was petrified.
And he kicked him on the chest.
I was like, he's not going to get Bruce Lee's not going to kill him. It's not possible. But just, oh my God, that is just like a moment, isn't it?
It's mad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
He used to give me the videos. He used to get these like pirate video, VHS tapes. He used to give them to me. My mum said, you can't watch that. You can't give that to him. He's not 18. And my granddad would sort of go, okay. And then he'd slip it to me under the table.
It's important to watch those.
It is.
Because it's, oh my God.
I loved it.
Incredible.
I loved it. It was what shaped my childhood, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't actually believe Bruce Lee, my God.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Oh, it is.
And obviously no one believed me in school. They were like, yeah, my dad's a werewolf. No one believed.
And he was a cha-cha champion. You know that, Bruce Lee?
Was he?
He was a cha-cha champion.
I did not know that.
Go and have a look. He was actually, he did Ballroom and Latin, and he was a cha-cha champion. I remember reading, my brother had all his books.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Look it up. And that's another link, you see?
Wow.
That's another link. If there was a book, Kai, like a magazine or a book, and it was an encyclopedia into the world of dance, and it had your name on it, what would you like to say? What would you like it to say about you?
Oh, gosh. God, that's a really good question. You hit me with a deep one there. I don't know. What, as in a title? Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a bad title. What, like, as a title?
Just like something what describes you and what you've done in dance.
What I've done in
dance.
You'd like
people to read about you.
It's going to sound probably very cliche, but I think not giving up. I've been very fortunate, and don't get me wrong, I think I've been a lot of the time in my life, I've been in the right place at the right time. But I think there's been so many times where there's been setbacks, and my granddad actually said to me, he said, setbacks are just setups for comebacks. And that's always stayed with me. So whenever something goes wrong, you can look at it and go, okay, it's gone wrong. You can cry about it, but everyone's got problems. It's how you deal with them. Yeah. And it's how you're going to come back from this and how you're going to reinvent yourself and come back. So I'm constantly trying to find a way to reinvent, that's the wrong word. I know. To better myself and stay hungry. So I think it would be something along those lines, and of never giving up. It's kind of always been in my life, really, you know, with my granddad training me, with my dad's football career, with my dance career. It's about, don't give up, keep trying, go again, work hard. Follow your dreams. That would be my big thing. Work hard, follow your dreams, and don't give up.
I mean, listen, this has been great. Not only to just see you, just have a talk, and just like it was yesterday. I mean, what an incredible career so far, Kai. And it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
However, we have one more thing.
Okay.
I do a thing with all of my guests called a quick motion round.
Oh, I like this sort of stuff.
So basically, I give you 2 words and you have to pick which one.
Oh, I like this. Yeah. Okay, this is...
Now, the ones at the beginning are, they're easy.
Okay.
However, the ones at the end might not be so.
Okay, all right, okay.
You might have to go, oh.
Okay,
but there's not loads, but let's see.
All right,
it's quick, so you've got to be on it. Okay.
All right, okay.
Sweet or savoury?
Savoury.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Night in or night out?
Night in.
Netflix series or film?
Netflix series.
Football or golf?
Golf.
Oh, that was quick. Birthdays or Christmas?
Christmas.
Blue eyes or brown eyes?
Brown.
Foxtrot or waltz?
Foxtrot.
Oh, that's a good. Samba or jive?
Jive.
Rumba or passo?
Rumba.
Tango or quick step?
Oh, God. Tango.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Head or heart?
Heart.
Dance or create?
Both.
I can't let you have that one, just as I know you.
All right.
Right, here we go. Motzi or Craig?
Oh, God, this is brutal. I can't choose. Craig.
Anton or Shirley?
Oh, my gosh, I'm never going to get a 10 again. Anton.
Okay, the biggest one. This is the last one. Dancing with the Stars or Strictly Come Dancing?
Oh, gosh. It has to be Strictly, doesn't it? Because it's my home. It's my home. But if you were on Dancing with the Stars, it would be Dancing with the Stars.
Thank you. Listen, Kai, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And listen, thank you so much for your time, Kai. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.